All right, welcome to the Mary Hyatt Show. I am your show host, Mary Hyatt, and I am thrilled to have you here today. If you are just joining this page or hearing this video for the first time, welcome. I'm so honored that you're spending your afternoon with me, or if you're watching the recording, whenever you're listening, I'm so grateful that you are taking the time out to join this important conversation today, because we are going to be talking about the 3 games that women play with each other. Obviously, I'm a woman, so this is something that I deal with all the time. I have coaching clients that are dealing with this constantly, which is why I wanted to talk about it today. But if you don't know me, this is the first time you are meeting me. I am a life coach, an entrepreneur, and a presidential diamond with doTERRA essential oils. And my passion, my heart, what makes me come fully alive is to really help women wake up, to begin to find their voice, and to become also fully alive. So every single week I offer a Facebook Live show that talks about authenticity, vulnerability, issues with our body as women, learning how to use our voice and figure out what makes us come alive. And today is no different. So I'm excited that you are here with me. Hang on tight as we start the show. Oh, I'm so excited about this topic, you guys, because this past week I was at a doTERRA convention. So like I mentioned, I help educate people on using natural remedies for their health and for their emotions and for just their overall sense of well-being. And so I was with, I think it was 37,000 pretty much other women. I mean, there was a few men in that group, but it was primarily women. And when I was heading out to convention, I was packing all my bags, and I went into my closet. I was pulling out the final things out of my closet, and I started to feel my heart race. I started to feel that sense of anxiety come over me, panic come over me, and my thoughts began to spiral like crazy. I instantly felt like, oh my God, my pants are too tight. My clothes are ugly. I'm wearing an old dress to the gala. I didn't buy a new dress, or I didn't buy new shoes. And I was thinking about my hair and thinking about what I was going to wear and what my makeup was going to look like. And I started obsessing about my body, about my clothes and all that stuff. And I walked into the closet. My boyfriend was in there packing as well. And I was like, I need you to connect with me right now. Like, please hold me, because I am spinning out of control. And I just started to cry, because I thought to myself, here I am in this body. And I do all this, work around the body, and I teach people how to fully love their bodies. And in that moment, I was hating my body. And I'm like, I've gained weight since last year. My pants feel tight. It's too late. There's nothing I can do about it. And I was just shutting down on every level, thinking to myself, I just need to not go. Every woman is going to be more beautiful than I am. They're going to be more successful than I am. They are going to judge me, and all the different ways that I've changed throughout the years as I've built this business. And I was feeling that pressure big time. And, if I think about all the people that I was going to see and all the team members that I was going to get to meet for the first time, these are all people that, rationally, I know support me. Rationally, I know that they are my biggest encouragers and cheerleaders. And yet I was terrified of being judged. I was terrified of not being accepted. I was terrified of being rejected. And I was really, really spinning out of control. So after talking about it, I allowed myself that moment of crying through it all. And just raise your hand if you've ever had one of those moments where you're going into an event, or you're going into a party, or something that feels really, really important and really big, and you start questioning how you look, and you start questioning what you're going to wear, and you start judging your body more harshly, and it's all because of how you think women are going to perceive you. So just put a number 1, put in a number, thumbs up, whatever it is, if you felt that before, that anxiety of showing up at an event. Brittany, you said that this is exactly how you felt at convention. Angel, you said same thing. Lisa, same thing. Yeah, like we were all experiencing this kind of collective anxiety, and it was to sort of posture ourselves in front of other women. These women who are supposed to be on your team and your teammates, all of a sudden we feel so insecure, so awkward, so fearful. And it got me thinking about this issue, how women typically are the hardest on other women. Hands down, if you think about it, that most women fear jealousy, or we feed off of jealousy, or we have judgments of other women. And I say all the time, I'm like, when you go out, when you go to dinner, or when you go to a movie, or you go to church, or you go to a yoga class, or you go to the gym even, or you go to pick up your kids at school, we are presenting ourselves for other women. We really don't care what men think. We do, but we're really getting ready for other women. I found this so true. I went on a girls' weekend a couple weekends ago in Vail, and it was all people that were beautiful and successful and had this incredible mindset and were on this same level. And I was so excited to go to this girls group, and we had this feed going as we're preparing for the trip, and everybody's talking about getting their eyebrows done and getting their eyelashes done and making sure they get a tan and getting clothes for the resort and all these different things. And I'm like, yo, this is freaking crazy. Can't we just wear our pajamas and drink wine and forget about it? It was amazing the pressure that we feel just to be in front of other women. And everything in our culture helps to instill this belief that we have to compete with each other, that we have to sort of pit ourselves up against other women. And so that every day, whether we go out to eat, pick up kids from school, go to Target, go to the grocery store, whatever it is, we're in our minds thinking about this kind of competition that we're in, whether we're able to vocalize it, whether we are collectively talking about it. I think that we all feel this pressure to sort of, keep up with the Joneses, keep up with the women on the other side of the fence, and make sure that we are in line, make sure that we are in a space where we aren't failing in some way or another. And so I went on to Instagram this morning, and y'all know I absolutely love Insta Story. I love posting on there. I shared a little bit about my workout this morning and some body work that I was dealing with. But I decided that I was going to ask you guys a really important question to sort of help with today and see some of the responses that I got back. So the question that I asked in my Instagram story, I said, what cruel games do women play with each other? What do we do? What are we really consumed with in our minds, sort of behind the scenes? And here are about 4 of maybe 30 responses that I got. And y'all, I posted this not too long ago. I probably got about 30 messages because everybody had an answer. Now, these are all about the same, but I'm going to read some of them to you, and let's see if you relate. So the first one there on the left says, games women play with each other. Number 1, jealous of each other's happiness. But then when you're the one that is happy, we get upset that others are supportive or probably not supportive or happy for you. Genuine happiness for another person is very rare, for at least I have noticed. Number 2, we want people to love and accept us as who we are, imperfections and flaws included. Yet many women are very quick to tear or judge other people or women down for not being perfect. Okay, if you guys relate to that first one, type in a number 1 in the comments. Vicky, you said it's so true that you often feel like you have to keep up. Okay, second answer there in the middle. What cruel games do women play with each other? Comparison, guilt, fake empathy, sub-posting about other groups of women. All right, third answer there, lying that everything is going perfectly in our personal lives when really things are falling apart. Therefore, not allowing others to share vulnerably about their own struggles. Faking it till we make it mentally doesn't serve anyone and only makes people feel worse about their own struggles. And then last but not least, I know you guys will agree with Rebecca here on the right, the comparison game, thinking we have to one-up each other or compete with each other in appearance, relationships, motherhood, and business. We need to support and lift each other up instead, which will only make us stronger. Okay, so I need some ones, guys, in the comment section. If you were in agreement with this, if you see this play out all the time, even if you yourself are perfect and don't do any of these things, maybe you observe other people that are doing it, are you experiencing this in your conversations with women? I know I have the most amazing friends who are what I would consider enlightened and empowered and just incredible human beings. And we fall into this from time to time when we're at brunch or whatever. And it's just amazing to see these games that we play, this game of wearing all of these different masks over and over and over again to hide what's really going on. The fear of being vulnerable in front of one another. So we have this whole persona that we've got it all together, that we're hanging in there, and nobody's really giving voice to what's going on behind the scenes, which is oftentimes feeling like we are drowning, feeling like we can't keep up, feeling like we are failing. And yet the people that we're supposed to go to work this stuff out with, the people that we are supposed to have in our corner, are oftentimes the people that end up being people we injure with our words, people that we are in competition with, and people that we feel like we have to tear down. And for me, what I realize is that women, what we do as women is we want to make others look bad so that we look good. So as long as somebody is uglier, heavier, less successful, in a miserable marriage, then all of a sudden somehow that can validate our own life. All of a sudden, we're doing okay. And you guys, Lindsay, Nanette, Rebecca, Denise, Brittany, you guys are all saying number one. So thank you for that feedback. And we socially gossip all the time. We're talking about other women and how other women aren't living up to whatever the ideal is. And the kind of twisted part about this is my friend Madison Headlung said this to me in a message this morning. She said, we sort of, how did she say it? She said, we disguise our gossip as prayer, as concern, or venting. Now, how many times have you heard somebody talking about, oh, bless her heart. I'm from the South, so we say that a lot. Like, oh, bless her heart. She just, she's having a real hard time in her marriage, or whatever. And it's like, you aren't concerned. You actually just want something to talk about. And so we have this very bizarre relationship to other women when that can be one of our most beautiful, empowering assets as women to come together with other women and celebrate all the ways that we are the same, all the ways in which we struggle the same, and celebrate all that. We were missing out on something really special. So one of the realizations that I have had is that we are constantly playing games with each other. Now, I know in the South, I feel like there's a lot of games being played in the South, because traditionally in the South, you just you don't talk about a lot of stuff. You brush over it. You smile at people when you hate them, and you say yes when you mean no. Or oftentimes you might say, if you meet somebody at a coffee shop and they're like, oh my God, we should get together. And you're like, yeah, that'd be great. And you literally have no intention of going out to coffee with them or getting together with them. It's like, we just, all this like fake energy, which, it just hurts my heart, when I see that. And I don't know if that's just a Southern thing. I would imagine that is a universal thing that's happening on between women. So I would love to know if that's common for you guys where you are from. If you're not from the South, you see that happening a lot, that just lack of genuineness. Is that how you say that? Lack of genuineness? Just your lack of being real, of being authentic. So I came up with the 3 games that women play with each other. All right, so the first game, and I have to talk about this because I talk so much about the body. I see this so often. The first game that we play is body bashing. Okay, so this can get really clever and it can be sort of below the surface, but anytime you comment on somebody's body in a way that is showing that it's not good enough, that is body bashing. So we want to feel thinner because of our cultural ideals. We want to feel fitter. We want to feel more beautiful than somebody else. And so the twisted way in which we do this is we start body bashing other people's bodies. Now, this still surprises me, honestly, when I hear this, but it's so prevalent that people are commenting on other people's bodies. Like, oh, that girl needs to eat a sandwich, or has she ever gone into the gym ever in her life? Like, oh my God, what is she wearing? That looks horrible. Oh my God, I need to help her. Like, if I could just, help her, I could teach her what to wear and she would look better. Or, yeah, did you see so-and-so? I mean, she has not lost that baby weight. Or, man, she's heavier than the last time I saw her. There's all this body bashing where we literally look at somebody's body and we start picking it apart. And the crazy thing is that we're doing this to strangers and we're doing this to people that are some of the dearest people in our lives, that we all of a sudden feel like we can bash and look at each other's bodies in a way that says, hey, your body isn't good enough. Now, in our brains, and this is where I just have so much compassion for ourselves, we think that by doing that gives us permission to say, hey, you're doing a better job. Hey, you're doing a good job. Hey, your body looks better. Good job. Way to go. Kudos. And it's a backwards way to validate our own bodies, but it's so harmful. And to me, that abuse stems from our own internal abuse that we're giving ourselves. The only reason we can bash somebody else's body is because we're bashing our own bodies in our minds. And I like to phrase it as our body bully. And sometimes our body bully is going to, beat up ourselves, and sometimes our body bully is going to beat up other people. It's like we walk into a room and we instantly body check. And we look around. The game is you look around and you go, where do I fit in with my body amongst these other women? Am I better? Am I worse? Am I skinnier? Am I heavier? Whatever that looks like, we play the body check game. And so that body bully all of a sudden starts telling us in our brains that we are ugly, that we are gross, that we are lazy, that we are stupid. And that ends up being externalized to other people. And Lindsay said, absolutely, it's our insecurities that start to come out. Exactly. So we have these insecurities about our own selves, and then we project those onto other people. And we have no idea what's going on in their life. We have no idea what their health is, or what they're doing to love on themselves. We have no idea. You cannot judge that based on somebody's external appearance on their body. We're so much more than our bodies. And yet we fall into this game of body bashing, body checking. And I always say, go back to that sweet rule, golden rule of if you don't have something nice to say, don't say anything at all. And one of the ways in which I see this oftentimes is this critiquing. Body bashing can show up in critiquing of people's appearance. So like, oh, let me help you with your eyebrows. Or, girl, that lipstick looks horrible. Or, I would not wear that. We're constantly like critiquing each other and fix this and fix that. And it makes you kind of a crazy person, thinking about like, oh my God, am I okay? Like, does everything match? Does everything work? And it's just this body bashing. It's this body bully that we're experiencing inside of our own heads, and also then externalizing it to other people. So the first game that we're playing is that we are body bashing and body checking. And so, yes, you guys are saying like, absolutely. Rebecca, you said, after having my daughter, I now think to myself, would I say this to my baby girl? If the answer is no, then I should not say it to myself or any other woman. Oh my God. I love that so much, Rebecca. Thank you for that. I often say to speak to yourself like you would speak to your daughter. See your sweet body as innocent, as little, so that you stop the abuse. Like you would never tell your daughter that her stomach was too big or her thighs were too thick or that she couldn't have stretch marks or couldn't have cellulite and abuse her and make her work harder and all those different things. You would never say that to your own daughter. And therefore, you should never say that to your friend, to a family member, to a stranger, or to yourself. Okay, so first game, body bashing. Now, the second game that we play over and over again, this is a big one, is comparison. Oh my God. Y'all, this is one that I fall into so often. When you start playing the game of comparison, it is detrimental. And where you literally walk into the room, you size up everybody else, you see where you fit in, you start comparing yourself to people on TV, to models, to movie stars, to magazines, all of these ways and people who reinforce this culture ideal that there's only one body that is acceptable and there's only one body that can be loved, that is higher in regard than any other body. And so we compare, we're constantly comparing. And what happens is when we compare, then we immediately snap out of the present moment. And one of my favorite quotes from Theodore Roosevelt is he says that comparison is the thief of joy. Comparison is the thief of joy. It snaps us out of the present moment, what we can experience, the beauty of our bodies, the beauty of the moment, the joy that we have right here, right now, all the things to be grateful for. The minute we compare, we start analyzing and judging where we are. And we say, I'm not good enough. Where I am is not good enough. They're better. They're more beautiful. They're healthier. They're richer. They have a better marriage. They have a better sex life. They're a better mother. All these different things. All of a sudden, we can't find contentment, pride, gratitude for where we are today. If we're always comparing, everything in our immediate environment isn't good enough, and we aren't good enough. So if I look at my neighbor, and let's say it's Saturday, and she's out there and she is planting all of her plants for the fall, and she is just going to town, and her front yard looks gorgeous, and I'm inside having a moment, needing to sit in front of Netflix and totally veg out, have a glass of wine at 12 o'clock. All of a sudden, if I compare myself to her, I can't enjoy my Netflix or my glass of wine anymore. I'm thinking about how lazy and how much of a slob I am and have no sense of self-control, and I'm drinking at 12 o'clock. All of a sudden, I start judging myself like crazy, and it robs me of that joy in my present moment. And so comparison is such a dangerous game to play with other women, because comparing ourselves to, we assume that person has had no struggle, has no weaknesses, has never been through any downturns, that we just kind of feel like they have gotten what they got out of ease, and that it's been easy and effortless for them. And what I know about women and what I know about life is that it ain't easy. It is hard, that we are all freaking struggling every single day. And so by comparing ourselves, it creates a divide. It means we're different than somebody else, and we're at a disadvantage and they have the advantage. So not only does it rob us from joy, it puts us in a place of being a victim. Well, they just have connections. Well, they just have money to go get a facial. Well, they have childcare. Well, they have this. Well, they have that. And so it makes us victim. Like, if only we had more money and the ability to have the time to do X, Y, Z. It's like, I remember one time somebody said to me, because I travel a lot, they said, must be nice to travel all the time. And I paused and I was like, it is. I love it. And I worked freaking hard to get here to be able to do that, But when we compare, it makes us different so that we cannot become that. we're down here. It puts us at a disadvantage. So comparison is just it's a nasty game that we play, and even goes into like when you're with another girlfriend and you start comparing yourself. If you see them be successful, if you see something happen that's good, no longer can you celebrate with them, because that's a direct threat on where you are. Because if you're comparing, if she's successful, then comparing means you can't be successful. So all of a sudden, again, there's that distance again. So you can't be present. You can't enter into the joy of the success of somebody else and celebrate with them. So it robs you of your joy. It robs you of being present. And it really puts you at a disadvantage to create the life that you want to create. Okay, so last but not least, the third game that women play, you guys know this one, is judging. Oh my gosh. I mean, is this not just every conversation you've ever had? Assuming somebody's situation, assuming that you know what's really going on behind the scenes, and judging people for it. Judging people's parenting, judging how somebody eats, judging what somebody's body looks like, judging somebody's marriage, judging somebody's business, judging somebody's bank account. You know, we go through life judging. And so this game that we play with other women is, let me judge again and see if she is a good wife, a good partner, a good mother, a good business owner, if she's a good leader. And this plays out in gossip. And when we feel inadequate about ourselves, when we feel like we aren't enough, the quickest way to feel better about ourselves is to judge somebody else, is to put somebody else down so that we can come up here. And y'all, we're adults. We know this. If we see it in kids, the whole idea of bullying in children, we think, oh my God, I mean, this is so horrible. But we demonstrate this and do it all of the time. It's really sad, honestly. And so when we're judging each other, what happens, and this is the big kind of consequence really of judging, is that we can no longer be honest with where we are. If we're so afraid of other people judging us, then we say yes when we mean no. We show up for things that we don't want to do. We get to the point where we hide our stories, we hide our struggles, we hide our victories, we hide our setbacks, we hide our challenges, we hide our meltdowns, we hide our wins, because we are afraid that somebody is going to judge us, whether it's judging us that we're too big, that we're too happy, that we're shining too bright, or we judge somebody in, that we're playing small, that they're not trying hard enough, that they're not doing enough, that they're, basically succumbing to all the stress and they can't keep it together. So we have this game where we can't show up in our strength or in our weakness when we are concerned with what other people are going to think about us, how other people are going to judge us. And we don't give permission to other women to share their vulnerability, to share their authenticity when we're judging everything that they do. And again, it always goes back to, we judge because we're judging ourselves. When we're hard on ourselves, we're going to be extra hard on other people. It's always a projection. When you feel confident, when you love yourself, you have no reason to judge anybody else. And so the third game that we play is that we are judging. Anna, you said you were so right, and it's so ingrained that we do it without even thinking. Jesse, you said yes. By hiding my insecurities, it's ultimately hid myself. No one knows the real me. Let me just tell you a quick story about that. Jesse, I'm so glad you brought that up, because that was me. So in my previous marriage, that was me. I was so insecure. I was so afraid of allowing people to see me that I wasn't able to be intimate in my relationship. I wasn't able to create true and real connection because I didn't let the real me be seen. I wasn't willing to be vulnerable. I wasn't willing to be authentic. And that created disconnection. That created this gap between my ex-husband and I, because I was so afraid that if I showed up as me, truly, authentically, my my good, my bad, my ugly, my really ugly, that might be rejected. That might be, at the point where that wasn't enough, or maybe I was too much. And so I just hid myself under all these different masks, which robbed me of connection, which robbed me of intimacy. And that's what happened when we are so hard on judging ourselves. It is very clear that we're not going to experience intimate relationships because we're so afraid that we don't let ourselves truly be seen. Because under it all, we are afraid that we don't belong. We are afraid that we don't belong, that we aren't cool enough, that something is broken inside of ourselves, that whatever these women are, we are not. And ultimately it goes back to shame. And I love this quote from Brene Brown. She says, "We can't let ourselves be seen if we're terrified by what people might think. Often not being good at vulnerability means that we're damn good at shame." And when you think about shame, when you think about this concept, shame is really the fear of disconnection. At the end of the day, it's a fear that we have done or failed to do, as Brene Brown says, an ideal that we can't live up to, or a goal that we can't accomplish, that makes us unworthy of connection, that I'm not good enough or worthy enough of love, belonging, or connection. That shame ultimately means that I'm unlovable, that I don't belong. That's what we're all dealing with. That is why we body bash. That is why we compare. That is why we judge, because we are afraid that we don't belong. And so it's either confirming a story that we aren't good enough. So we're judging ourselves. We're comparing against other people. We are body bashing ourselves. Or it is helping us to validate any scrap of sense of self-worth. So if everybody else is worse off than me, that validates that I'm at least something better than them. So it either validates our own sense of I'm not enough, so we start turning that inwards, or by body bashing other people, by body checking other people, by comparing ourselves to other women, by judging other women, somehow that's going to validate my sense of self-worth. Now, the definition of shame is that shame is the intensely painful feeling or experience of believing that we are flawed and therefore unworthy of love and belonging. I mean, how freaking powerful is that? That really is shame, that we are unworthy of love and belonging. So all the comparing, all the judging, all the body bashing stems from insecurity. It stems from fear of being unlovable. And so the stronger that fear is of being unlovable, the stronger we're going to judge others. Can I get like an amen? I know you guys are giving me some hearts up and some hearts and some thumbs up. Thank you for this. So if this is resonating with you, if you feel that shame that's driving you to comparison and judgment and body bashing, give me some hearts, give me some likes, give me some kind of a comment in there so I know you guys are resonating with this. Thank you. Loving those hearts. Feels so good to get hearts. So let me explain something. That in order to combat this, there is only, in my opinion, one answer. And that is empathy. That if we are going to have an antidote for the judging, the comparison, and the body bashing, the antidote is empathy. It is radical compassion that starts with recognizing that every single woman is feeling the same thing. Every woman is fighting her own demons. Every woman doesn't feel good enough. Every woman feels insecure about her body. Every woman feels insecure about her body. I don't care who you say. People feel insecure about their sex life. Women are feeling insecure about being a wife or being a partner. Women are feeling insecure about their parenting, their job, how clean their car is, how clean their house is, and the list goes on and on and on. Ultimately, y'all, we are all exhausted. So if we're going to get past the comparison and judging and body bashing, we have to start with empathy. And remember this amazing phrase that just like came to me one day. She is me. She is me. We are all fearing that we're not good enough. And guess what? We are all on the same team, that it's okay for all of the women in the world to feel confident, to feel wealthy, to feel healthy, to enjoy their lives. Just because somebody is happy, just because somebody is experiencing greatness, goodness in their life, doesn't mean there isn't room for you. And oftentimes that's what it stems from, that if somebody's successful, then I won't be. So then I need to compare myself to her. I need to judge her. Just because she is in a different body than yours doesn't mean that your body has to change. Just because she is more beautiful doesn't mean you're also beautiful. There is room for all of us to shine. And there would be so much more room for all of us to shine if we encourage each other, if we supported each other to do just that, to shine, to step in to our lives vulnerably, that we could hold the space for each other to share what's going on from an authentic place, our struggles. We could lift each other up versus tear each other down. I mean, just think of the power as women that we could have if we saw the other person as yourself, with the same struggles, with the same insecurities, with the same doubts, that they're doing the best that they can. Okay, sorry, our broadcast was interrupted there. But we have the power to shift this tide 100%. And it all starts with that empathy. And that is why I'm really excited, because this is totally a free thing that I'm doing. It's a fun little challenge. I created a She Is Me 5-day challenge. Now we're going to start this on Friday. This is going to be a amazing challenge of doing little small acts of sisterhood to love other women. So I've created this private Facebook group for the challenge so that we can all kind of get together, band together, really work on changing this. So every single day, just for 5 days, I'm going to post a fun little challenge for you guys that's going to be just so encouraging, ways to step out and love other women, to compliment other women, to feel more secure in who you are. And we're going to get to do this together. So I was just like, y'all, everything that's going on right now with the news and the crazy and just the depressive climate of our world, I was like, I need to feel some more love. I want to feel from my women that these women have my back and that I have theirs, and that we can begin to kind of have a ripple effect of love by starting with this concept that she is me. Because I know we all want to have deeper, more vulnerable, more authentic relationships, more friendships. I have women to me all the time. They're like, how do you find friends who are real, who aren't in this comparison, judging, body bashing, gossiping kind of environment? I know that we want to feel like other women have our backs. So for me, I was like, okay, well, why not create a fun little easy, quick challenge so we can spread this love for 5 days. So on Friday, we're going to do this to help you snap out of that competition, to help you snap out of the trance of comparison and feeling like you're not good enough. Because the truth is, ladies, we're all in this together. Like, I am right there with you. You guys know I share on my Instagram all the freaking time that I'm struggling with this, that I am comparing my body to other people, that I feel inadequate, that I feel like I am not enough. And it's a daily challenge. It's a daily battle. And I'm having a lot of meltdowns recently. I had one this morning at the gym. And so I'm like, okay, we need to have this challenge, the She Is Me challenge for 5 days, to give ourselves permission to love on other women ultimately. And I thought that this is a quick, easy way to do it. The link for this, by the way, if you want to join the group, no pressure, totally free. I'm also doing giveaways. I'm going to give away some awesome books, my favorite kind of self-help books and some fun little essential oil blends too that are all about women empowerment. So join that. But the link is in the video description. I think it's also in the comments as well. But I want all of us to really work on sharing that love and to remember that the woman that's passing me on the street, she is me. The woman on the yoga mat next to me, she is me. The woman whose child is having a meltdown in the grocery store aisle, she is me. The woman who is sitting at dinner next to me with her husband and looks absolutely miserable, she is me. The woman who is 250 pounds and walking down the street in her tennis shoes, she is me. You know, the woman who looks incredibly flawless in her black dress and her high heels, she is me. Ultimately, she is me. And that's why I want to do this 5-day challenge. So I hope you will join the Facebook group. Just click on it. It's a private group. I'll add you into it. Because I want to just basically run around and yell at everybody and be like, you're enough, you're so beautiful, you're so radiant, you're incredible. Like, I want to spread that light. I want to spread that love. I want to let people know, like, you are enough, girl. You got it. Like, go, girl. And I just was like, okay, if I want to do that, let's all do that for each other. So to participate in this challenge, and the moment that we start to body bash, the moment that we start to compare, the moment that we start to judge or shame, just to pause and to repeat, she is me. There is no separation. Separation is an illusion. That she is me. That's why I created this Facebook group, this Facebook challenge for 5 days. So we're starting on Friday. Because when we feel confident, when we feel loved, when we feel whole, when we feel worthy of belonging, there is no need for gossip. There is no need to judge. There is no need to compare. We are free to finally be ourselves, our entire selves, whether that is playing big, whether that is shining bright, and equally when we are being afraid that we're not going to get what we want, when we're afraid to be happy, when we're afraid to share, when life feels like it's too much to handle, when we're afraid to share, that we're stressed and exhausted. This is what it's all about, to come to a place where we can be more honest, more loving, and more supportive to one another, and kind of coming back to that understanding that there is no separation, there is no difference. She is me, and that is how we begin to heal that insecurity. That's how we begin to heal that shame, where we begin to feel a sense of love and belonging. That's what we all want. That's what we all are craving. That's what we are longing for. So I want to create a space for that to happen. So it's a totally free group. So go ahead and go over to the link in the comments or up above on the description of this. The 5-day She Is Me Challenge Facebook group. You guys, it's going to be fun little things that are going to make you feel amazing. Quick challenges every day. And then at the end of the week, I'm kind of excited about this. I was like thinking through ideas of what I wanted to do with this challenge group. And at the end of the week, I'm going to highlight somebody's story this week. Somebody who is having this aha moment that is shifting from comparing and judging and body bashing to more love, empathy, and compassion. And highlight that on my Instagram page. So I'm just excited. I'm excited to connect with you guys in a more intimate way in this group. So please join that. But I'm just so grateful to have had this conversation with you guys and to move out of a place of realizing we don't need to hurt others to make ourselves feel important. We don't need to bash other people's bodies to feel more beautiful. We don't need to compare ourselves to feel more valuable. We don't have to judge other people to pump ourselves up. That we can love each other, celebrate each other, give room for everybody to grow and to shine, and also to have real life experiences of grief and anger and hurt and forgiveness and sadness. there's space and room for all of that. And as women, we have got to change this and come together to love, encourage, support one another. So I so appreciate y'all being on my show with me today. I'm excited to be with you guys next week, and I will leave you with my little sign off saying that the purpose of life is to be grateful, to be great, and to be full. I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of your week, and I will see you inside the challenge Facebook group. All right, see you guys. Bye.